And good afternoon. It is a farmer's market day here at Kathy Hester's house. I don't know if you guys can see back there, but there's a bird that's flying around that's super awesome. There's a little crook in our drainage pipe, and there's some wood, and the way it's flat enough, there's birds that have a nest and there's babies, and it's so cool. It's so cool, you guys. So as I promised last week, I'm going to be doing a weekly unboxing of my CSA, and it's from Sugar Hill Produce. And if I don't have all that information down below, I'll put it on YouTube afterwards, but I believe I do. Even though you can't get the whole CSA, and this is for local people, but it's not just for Durham. I think it's like Durham and Mebane and Hillsborough, but they have all the lists, and the person who does the CSA was kind enough to go and put in the correction last week. Hey Dreamy Sunshine, it is awesome to see you. And you guys say hi, tell me where you're from, how you're doing. I woke up, brushed my teeth, we went to the farmer's market earlier this morning. So over here I have farmer's market stuff. This is not, but this is a teaser. This is zip top bags. We have been talking for a while about reusable bags. Oh, and Dreamy Sunshine is from the Bronx. That's awesome. Welcome. I'm here in Durham, North Carolina, and it's already hot. Like hot. So, but next week we're going to do a giveaway of a full set of zip tops. So make sure to hang out here next week around Saturday at 1. I'm talking with them about if we're just going to do the giveaway live or if you'll have a chance to enter after that. So stay tuned. But one of the reasons I wanted to talk to them is because when you get a CSA or you buy a lot of produce at once, and it's hot in the Bronx this weekend as well, and I bet it is. Like, it was 90 something yesterday in North Carolina. And Kim from Florida says hello to everyone. And I'm going to put your cool sunglasses on there, Dreamy Sunshine. I think it's supposed to get in the 90s again. So this CSA, I went ahead and paid for the whole summer. So they do something they call a porch drop, where you could just decide for 1 week you do it. You don't get to pick the vegetables or fruit that you have, okay? Hi, CJ from Scotland. I think, and it's somewhere between $25 and $27 is how much this box costs, including delivery. So it comes in a big bag that we reuse as a trash bag. But again, Sugar Hill Produce, and I've really liked everything that they've done. So we're going to do this first so you can see what I got for my money there. Hey, Denise from Sparks, Nevada. Had to think about that. I had to like fill in the blanks with the NV. That tells you I am not from I'm not from the area of the country you guys are. So last week we got some stuff. I peeked, and I've got this beautiful bunch of cilantro. And let me see if I can get you a really good side view. This gives you a little more, like, look how pretty. It's all nice and moist. What I'm going to do is, for this, I'm probably just going to store in a glass of water and try and use it up probably 5 days if I can. Sometimes you can stretch it longer. Let's say you got this. You forgot to have your CSA on hold. You could take all of this, puree it in your blender, and put it in ice cube trays. You could also do this anytime. Like, maybe I was like, I'm not going to make Indian or Mexican food this week, but I don't want to waste this. So one thing I could do is puree it and freeze it in ice cube trays, and I could use it all winter. I know, doesn't that look fresh, CJ? It's kind of amazing. Another thing I could do is dehydrate it. And I have a bunch of dehydrated cilantro, so usually I don't dehydrate the cilantro immediately. I usually forget about it. I look up, I'm like, ooh, I've got like 12 hours to use the cilantro, and I'll throw it in and dehydrate it. And then that is not the ultimate flavor way to do it. If I knew I wasn't going to use it, it's better when it looks fresh and beautiful. Ooh, and Dreamy Sunshine says, just like we do for sofrito. Oh, yeah, I need to make sofrito. I haven't done that in a long time. So, but I'm a yay cilantro person. I know a lot of you are a nay cilantro person. And it's mostly because it doesn't taste the same to us. It doesn't taste like soap. But I also love lavender and rose flavors, so, you know. And I think I have the biggest bunch of spring onions I have maybe ever seen. It's like, how tall is that? I feel like that's more than 2 feet. So I can tell you right now, I'm not going to use all these. Now I can use the white parts in some things too, but I could take these greens, and I have some where I did just a wee little bit, and I'll show you these. They were not quite as hefty as these are. Let's see. Oh, there we go. You can sort of see them in here. So I just cut them up and dehydrated them. And I can put this in soups in the winter or the fall if I don't have onions, and it'll give me that great onion flavor. So we could also do other things. We could put these on salads. We could garnish all of our dishes with them. Cheryl won't eat onions like that. So probably what I'm going to do is at least half of this, 2/3 of this, I'm probably going to just take my kitchen shears or the scissors that are clean enough for me to lick that I hide from all my family. There's no package opening with these. And I'll just snip them, and then I'll put them in the dehydrator. And then it's just done. So I'll probably even do part of that today instead of putting all of this in the fridge and letting it go to waste. These little guys, also if I cut it to here, I can, not that I need to, but I could regrow probably about this much again. So just by putting these with the roots in some water, I can regrow some of the tops. It won't be this massive at all. And Afshan, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, Afshan says that he loves sofrito as well. And Danique says hello to you, welcome. Okay, so we've got a giant bunch of scallions, and we've talked about a few things we could do. We could also puree some of that and put it in ice cube trays. Why do I keep saying the ice cube trays? So if I puree it, maybe I only have 2 ice cube trays. Then once it's frozen, I put it in a Ziploc bag of some kind, or a zip top reusable bag, and throw it in the freezer. So then in the winter, I can just put those in my soups, stews, maybe add and make some kind of crazy winter pesto. All those things would work out really well. Last week we had a giant Swiss chard. This time we have a giant curly kale, and it looks beautiful. It's so fresh, you guys. Let's see if we can see overhead at all. Sometimes, let's see. You can do it, yay! But this is big, and it is like really nice. Like a good way if you're in the store trying to check this stuff out, it's kind of like look in the middle, see if there's something kind of fading or yellowish. Hi, One Anti-Venom. We are happy to have you here. And Kim says the kale is beautiful. Yes, it is. And so again, so we've got these big, beautiful scallions. And I'm going to dehydrate some of these, at least 2/3 of the top. I'm going to just chop up with kitchen shears, the laziest way humanly possible. All of this produce looks really clean and washed. So it was washed before it was put in the bag. So I'm going to, unless it looks dirty as I open up and take it out of the rubber bands, I'm not really going to do much else. Hi, Susan Crow. It has been a long time. I love your new profile picture. That is awesome. Actually, I love all y'all's profile pictures. I have had a coffee, but I am still sleepy. But okay, so this is a lot of kale. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to break down all the kale, just like I did the Swiss chard last week. I actually kind of chiffonaded it, or made it into these very thin, long strips. So I just rolled up the leaves and went and store it in a bag. So I could just pull a handful out, throw in a stew, throw in pasta. If you saw the class I put up on YouTube, or you went to the pod class, I did the creamy sauce mix with rosemary, and I added roasted spiralized carrots to that. And I did a couple of big handfuls of that thinly sliced Swiss chard, and it looked beautiful. So I could do that with this, but more likely I'm going to tear it into small pieces. I brought out over here my giant salad spinner, right? So, but the thing is everything here is so clean, I don't think I really need it. But what I'll do is, again, I'll take everything off the big part of the stem. You could just chop it up too and cook the stem. You'll just have to cook it longer, like you would collard greens. And I cook kale like collard greens all the time. What I do for my kale, because Cheryl will pick out the big pieces, because they're tough, is I'll take out this whole part. I'll cut that off or tear this off. I put the kale stems aside, and if you go to Healthy Slow Cooking, I have 2 different recipes that use kale stems. One makes a creamy sauce, and it's the fiber in it that thickens it up, but you do need like a high-speed blender or a really strong food processor to do that. All right, so then I have a pretty nice head of lettuce. Last time I got a little bag of lettuce. Now I've got a big old thing of lettuce. So probably what I'm going to do, because some of this in the middle is probably going to still have some dirt, although this looks pretty daggone clean. But as I take the leaves apart, I'll kind of decide, because you'll see in the bottom crevices, like right about in there, there could be holding some dirt. So if that's the case, I'll wash it again. Either way, this is still wet enough that I want to spin it. If it's wet and I put it in a bag, it's going to go bad faster than if it's dry. You could pat it with clean kitchen towels too, or paper towels. All right, and this broccoli is like a star. And I've got like 3 or 4 good broccoli leaves, and broccoli leaves and stems are actually full of nutrients. So if you don't want to eat them, what I would do is chop them up, put them in a little baggie, and you can drop it into a smoothie. So that's some free smoothie greens right there. This is a nice head of broccoli, and let me move this up so I can show you to the side. This is where we're getting our best views. See how tight these are? And there's a little bit of yellow here, but that's around the end. It's just where it wasn't getting enough sun, I feel like. It's not yellow, it's just a lighter green. And then the bonus of getting things in the CSA to me is all of this broccoli stem. So it's in pretty good condition. So I don't even know, it's been chopped so recently, I wouldn't shave that off. And then I'm gonna peel probably around in there with a vegetable peeler. So usually I'll cut off the florets and peel that, and then you can either stick this in a bag in the fridge or the freezer. But usually I do the fridge because a broccoli stem will last a long time, like a root vegetable. And then when I make a batch of cruciferous crunch, I shred that and add it in with my shredded Brussels sprouts, carrots, my kind of sliced thin and diced a little bit cabbage, things like that. And in fact, probably next week, I've got a cruciferous crunch video that Cheryl edited with new angles and everything. It should be super cool. Susan says the broccoli is beautiful. I know. So some of the things we could do with the broccoli. One of my favorite things to do is go ahead and have it cut up in those smaller florets. Cheryl, like anything this big, like that big, will have to be cut into 3. She likes little thin ones. So if I have it cut up into little thin ones, then if I'm making a pasta, I can just throw it in there. Also, if you have bigger broccoli pieces, just kind of time it right. The smaller, the less time. If you're boiling pasta for any kind of dish, so if you're going to use a marinara sauce, my creamy pasta sauce mix, or my cheesy sauce mix to make like mac and cheese, then you can still go ahead and cook the broccoli, maybe some carrots and some other veggies in there, strain it all, mix it with the sauce. It's super easy. Oh, and DB likes the idea of using broccoli leaves in a smoothie. Exactly. And you can buy sometimes broccoli leaves and they're quite expensive. They're more expensive than other greens. So, and I'll show you what I was looking for a little bit on my farmer's market produce that I picked out. But same thing with cauliflower. I think it's actually, the cauliflower is in the video that's to come with the cruciferous crunch. I had some baby cauliflower and I made sure we included the leaves with that too. And one anti-venom says, I'm stuck in a hotel for a little while post-surgery. I'm living off steamed broccoli with lemon hummus. If you're gonna have to pick one thing, that is a pretty delicious one. I'm sorry that you're stuck in a hotel, and hopefully, I don't know how much fun I'm bringing by showing you my groceries, but I love seeing them. My other friend, she's just not into it. It does not. My best friend is like, yeah, groceries. And her husband and I are like, ooh, it's a new grocery store, let's go. That's why it's a good thing sometimes to be couples friends. And then lastly, and let me sit this over here for a second, I have the cutest, most beautiful strawberries. And you've got to see these closer. We'll try two different ways. Let's see. Come on. Yeah, I still think we need the side view. Look at these guys. Are they not glorious? They're perfectly ripe. I noticed last week I had gotten some too, and they were so clean. They were just already washed off because last week there was a lot of rain. And so I don't know if you guys have ever been to pick strawberries, but you know, some fruit like peaches, I'm trying to think, now that I'm trying to think of it, I can't, but they will ripen as they continue, but these won't. So like, this is about as ripe as this is gonna be. So that little part will probably cut off. So there are a couple of things you can do with these strawberries. And one anti-venom says, I love grocery hauls. Yay, me too. And Cheryl was kind of mad because I snuck off to the farmer's market without her last week. So she insisted on going. So you'll get to see some of that too. So I really feel like, and let's see it overhead, you know, it's not like the same kind of massive deal, but everything is beautiful and I am not sad. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big pieces. This much kale would cost a minimum of $5 in the grocery store. Oh, thank you. Facebook user says, I love your kitchen. Because it's so big, so I feel really good about that. This is about, it depends on where you buy your cilantro. This could be 2 bunches at $1 each, or it could be a $3 bunch. Yay, hey Apple, it's good to see you as always. And let's see, I'm not doing, oh, these are the other ones. We don't want to see those now. Here we go. And then we've got this giant head of broccoli, and it's pretty heavy. Usually broccoli's by weight. And I don't like knowing that I'm paying for all this weight, so I like it in the CSA. Somehow it feels, but this, I'd be shocked if this was less than $5. A nice head of lettuce. I don't know how much that will cost. This is like 6 bunches of scallions or something. And this much strawberries, fresh strawberries, are usually about $5. So I am not sad. I think they usually say you get $17 to $22 worth of produce. I feel like we're winning. You know, ooh, CJ says, I found a recipe for strawberry caprese salad, which I'm going to try for dinner. So those of you who may not know, a traditional caprese salad has sliced fresh mozzarella, sliced fresh tomatoes, and usually some basil. And if you are not on an SOS diet, Miyoko's fresh mozzarella is amazing. And so that's what I would recommend. I love that idea. Strawberries are great on salads. You could do some kale salad with some strawberries. We could even make like a green onion aquafaba vinaigrette. I'm obsessed with the flavor combination of pineapple, jalapeno, and cilantro right now. So there may be, every time I see cilantro, that's kind of where I'm going. But with the strawberries too, when you take the tops off, if you're getting organic strawberries, those tops that you're taking off, you can actually put in water and it'll flavor it kind of strawberry. So if you go to plantbasedinstantpot.com, I have a quick Instant Pot way to infuse them. So it warms up the water. And that's just what speeds up the infusion, but you could totally do that. So you can still use your strawberries and maybe just have just a tiny bit of it, of the flesh of the strawberry on there, and it is delicious. I ate mine straight out of the pint because I just love them. I love strawberries so much, but I'm also thinking of maybe making a strawberry ice cream, and we're going to see if we can go and pick strawberries. But I'm not sure if this spring has been really weird because it's been really warm, so some of the stuff is ahead of time. But I think we might still be able to pick strawberries. Usually they come in North Carolina through the beginning of June, so there should be a little more time. Okay. Oh, and DB puts their strawberry greens in smoothies. That's a great idea too. Because anything green, well, not anything, most things green, let's say that, because yes, I don't want you going and putting poison ivy or poison oak in your smoothies. There are some greens that are off limits, right? So don't just go out in your yard and start putting things in your smoothies. But in general, a lot of things like this can be eaten and are good to eat. So, and Cheryl is going out the door again, which always makes Max upset. So nothing is really happening. I think the mailman came. This is the CSA. So I'm going to move this over and we're going to talk about some stuff that I got at the farmer's market. And this is the Durham farmer's market. And one of the things too, let's see, I would like to wipe some of that off, is don't forget, at least ours takes EBT and SNAP. And sometimes you can even get basically what would be kind of food stamps or food assistance doubled at the farmer's market. So produce is often more expensive at the farmer's market than it would be at Food Lion. You often get, which is our kind of lower end grocery store, but you often get 2 to 3 times as much. And now the pricing becomes very comparable. So if you are using some sort of assistance, double check, and you might be surprised your farmer's market might take that as well, which is wonderful. Okay, so we got all kinds of things here, so many things. I found this cool kimchi place, and which is in Durham, North Carolina, and I got a green cabbage kimchi. All of their kimchis are vegan. And you guys can't see that, so I'm just going to read it to you. And it's called the Spicy Hermit. And there's green cabbage, carrot, radish, green onion, garlic, Korean chili pepper, ginger, onion, apple, soy sauce. And it's a gluten-free soy sauce, vegetable broth, rice flour, sugar, salt, and water. So there's no oil in here at all. So if you're eating oil-free. And this one I could not resist, y'all. Green garlic kimchi. And so all of them are gluten-free and vegan, and it's a small woman-owned company. It's just super cool. And so again, I'm sure they're at other farmers markets, but they were at the Durham farmers market. And this has green garlic, Korean chili pepper, and pretty much all the same stuff. And the last 3 ingredients are sugar, salt, and water. So if you are on a no sodium, no sugar diet, you wouldn't be able to have this, but I think it's a very small amount, so you could talk to your doctor. These are going to go and get refrigerated. These were $8 each. Oh. We had it in the car. I can hear it talking to me. Yeah, there we go. It wasn't quite. I got some fresh turmeric, and I think this amount of turmeric was about, it was $3. $3 or $4. So it really wasn't very much. A lot of times it was $10 a pound, and he didn't like the looks of this one, which I think is fine. So he threw in this piece, and that's something that happens at the farmer's market too that can be kind of nice and exciting. So I've been having a lot of inflammation lately, so I'm probably going to do a few things. I'm going to probably make a ginger turmeric kind of tea concentrate, and I think that is on Plant-Based Instant Pot already. I use fresh ginger, turmeric, cook it all together, and then use it as a concentrate. You can buy things like that as well. You can also then like grate some turmeric in your stews, in your soups, or put some in your smoothie. You want to peel it a little bit, and then it's like that super, super orangey color that you're expecting. So that's one thing I got at the farmer's market. Trying to separate it so you guys don't get confused about what I paid for what. All right, I got a bunch of turnips, and I think these were $3. That's a lot of baby turnips. And turnip greens. And let's look at these greens. I didn't want to get wrong hammer. So they do have some holes in there. They have, been snacked on a little bit. And see this, when I was telling you to look for certain things, see how that one needs to go. It got squished and it wasn't looking very good. But I was looking turnips first, and I love these little salad turnips. Oh, and CJ keeps fresh ginger and turmeric in her freezer to grate into hot lemon. I believe it's hot lemon water is what we're talking. And that's also cool. I don't know why this one is not keeping a good focus. There we go. I'll let you see it from the side. I think you see it a little clearer from this one. So you can really see. And yeah, it's okay that somebody ate a little bit of this. I can share. I'm just going to wash them really, really good. So a couple of ways that I would serve these. I could roast these turnips. I wanted to say turnip roots, but the root part, and then saute these, and we could serve it together in one dish. Or you could add turnip greens to a smoothie, make a green smoothie out of it. We could make kind of southern greens with it. So usually I saute a little bit of onion, a little bit of garlic. You could put some mushrooms in there, some chopped mushrooms to give it some umami. Then put this in here. I'd use a little liquid smoke, maybe just a tiny bit of gluten-free soy sauce for me, could be soy sauce or tamari for you, and that makes a really nice side dish. This, while it looks like a lot, it's probably going to cook down to about enough for 2 people, or 3 or 4 if they're just going to eat just a teeny tiny bit of it. So we've got those. And again, we talked last week a little bit about the twofers, where you're getting the root veggie and the greens that you can use. And I really like that. So I'm a sucker for these purple carrots. And they're not all purple. Most of them are orange. There's a yellow, and I think I've got 2 purple ones in here. And these were $3 as well. And all of these greens. So some people are a little sensitive to carrot greens, and some people say don't eat them, but you can make like carrot top pesto. You can make other things with it, or you could add this into a smoothie as well, or just cook it with some other greens. There's a gumbo called Gumbo Zerbs, like Z''herbs, and it uses carrot tops, like turnip tops, there's a bunch of different greens, and it's a delicious gumbo. So that's something else you could use that for. CJ saying, do those baby turnips have a milder flavor? They do. And in fact, a good thing is about these baby turnips is you don't have to peel them. They had some that were larger, and if you get a big old one that you're going to store for the winter, you got to peel that one. But these you don't have to peel. I can just cut off the little root, cut it off from the stem. I find when you roast them, it takes any of the bite out and makes it a really mellow vegetable. And in addition to turnips, radishes, like the spicy hot radishes, mellow out like a dream when you roast them. So I think the little ones do have a milder flavor anyhow. They're a good intro to turnips for maybe someone who's not sure how they feel about them. And so I'll probably roast some of these carrots and maybe cut them up and use them in soups and stuff. I'm probably going to just cut the greens off and store them like this until I'm going to use them. And I'll put the greens separately. And these both I'm going to wash. And also, we were out in 90-degree weather walking around, then we went to eat, and then we went to another errand. So both of these are a little drier. So what I'm going to do too is I'm going to soak them in some water. And I forget what they call it. I read about it somewhere. It's like ice the vegetables or something. But basically you put them in a cold water bath and they kind of come back to life. So if you picked something from your garden and it feels a little sad, which mine would right now, then you could also still put it in some cold water, let it soak up that moisture and plump back up. And I don't remember if I said Apple uses carrot greens for pesto, so that could be really good too. I have not done that yet, so maybe I need to. And all of these pestos, right, that we might make, because I also have an oregano pesto over on Healthy Slow Cooking, and I call it kind of a fall-ish pesto because that's when I used to, before a big freeze, had a giant oregano plant. And so I used oregano, I think I used some kale, you could use spinach, I used a little bit of pecans. And when you're harvesting something like that, or maybe making this carrot pesto, again, I could freeze it in ice cube trays, put it in a Ziploc bag, then all winter long I can drop one in a beans, soup. I could do a quick, pasta with pesto. So kind of spring and summer are nice times to go ahead and start planning for like perks and surprises in the winter. If I went to a you pick strawberries, then I'm going to freeze some so that I have some great strawberries for when I can't get them. So think of things like that. Also, like with this turmeric isn't going to be at my farmer's market forever. There's definitely seasonal things. Like once we get near fall, we're going to probably have more giant turnips and things like that. Oh, that's good too. Those white turnips I would like pickled. I like the idea of that. That sounds delicious too. And let's see. Okay, so that's the food that we got. I tried to be moderate. The kimchis, I was like, female-owned company, labeled vegan and gluten-free. They need my money. I love kimchi. Sometimes you can't find kimchi that's vegan. You have to check very carefully if you're at the Asian market. They exist, but there's often fish in it. I'm going to show you one of the three things that I got because we're going to get our second booster soon. So these are my dinners off. And this is from Soul Cucina. And that's a local vegan company. So this one is like creamy broccoli and chickpeas with carrot rice. And I think these were between $7 and $12. And I'd say this is easily a whole meal for me and Cheryl. And maybe we'll put some sauteed greens or a salad with that and beef it up. We also got her red enchiladas and her green enchiladas, which is the same size. And we're going to put one of those in the freezer for just like a time that I'm like, no, I'm not interested in doing anything, or I'm tired. We're keeping this and that because I think we're going to get our shot tomorrow. And that way, if I'm tired or whatever, it's good. Everything's taken care of. We could also be taken care of with the freezer, but this was just like a nice little present to me. And I like to try and support the vegan vendors as much as possible. And speaking of that, it's like Brooklyn Bakery. And it's an all vegan, I'll show you, we didn't eat any of this. We got it This is my gluten-free cinnamon crumble muffin. And actually, you can't see that very well there either. It's been in a bag, so it probably doesn't look quite as good as it should. But it's moist and yummy. This is for Cheryl, and it's vegan. It's a cheddar chive vegan biscuit. That looks amazing, doesn't it? And then we got a couple of gluten-free cookies. Oh, and I'm just going to leave them in the bag because they've been kind of steaming in there a little bit. So there were tons of things. She had Danishes and things like that. She had 2 gluten-free options, which was the cookie and the muffin. And she seems to, this was the second week there's been 2 gluten-free options, so yay. So both Soul Cucina and Brooklyn Bakery are all vegan. So that's super awesome. There's also some meads and cideries. The mushroom people weren't there this week, which is like Haw River mushrooms. But there's also, if you don't do gluten-free, you can get freshly milled flowers. They had about 6 or 7 different flowers at this one booth, which was cool. And my last purchase is I got another passion fruit plant, or maypop. I'll let you see from this side. Hello, little maypop. And this one is so much, the one I got last week is this big still. So I was like, yes, please, I will upgrade. And then they didn't have this last week. So well, you may be able to guess, it's a squash of some sort. And I've never seen starts for Delicata Squash. So it's Delicata Squash. And I have a couple of planters I still haven't planted up. So I was like, I was able to talk Cheryl into letting me have one more plant. We'll see. I told her there may be more to come, but I was trying to film a tour of the garden outside yesterday and it got a little weird. Like I've still got to learn how to use my gimbal a little bit better, start flipping around and stuff. But basically, this is just a tiny bit. They had so many tomatoes, vegetables, flowers, native flowers, bushes, just more things than you could. I could have gotten tomatillos. I could have gotten 12 kinds of tomatoes and different things like that. So even if you're not near the Durham Farmers Market, if you're in my area, you check out the Scarborough, Hillsborough. The Raleigh States Farmers Market is a little different, though I go there as well. And they have like half plants and half food. You're going to find probably more organic and, what's the word that they use? They're pesticide free. So a lot of the farmers are either transitioning or use pesticide free farming methods, even though they're not officially organic, that are in Durham. And you can ask, some do, they're not all organic for sure. At Raleigh, they're going to be more commercial farmers, and they're bigger farmers typically. But there's this one that has the best herbs, and I go there and you can get usually like 2 or 3 big things of herbs for like $5. And some of those you can root. So in fact, I gotten some basil there, rooted it, put it out in my garden. So now I have 3 extra plants and I ate a bunch of basil. So you can do that with like basil, some other herbs too, and mint, different mints and things like that. So this is pretty much what I wanted to show you today, which was a lot. So this is my farmer's market haul, only it's about that big. And then in front was all the CSA haul. So I hope you guys enjoyed it and got some ideas about maybe what you can make for dinner this week. I know I have. And I will see you guys next Saturday at 1 p.m. And we'll do a zip top giveaway. And not for just like this little bitty one. We're going to do a set of them. And we'll talk more about them, okay? So have an amazing rest of your day, rest of your weekend, and eat something delicious today.